access to education and access to jobs for young girls?
Yeah, one way of doing this is first ensuring that these girls go through the education system fully so that they don't fall out like what we've seen in the case in Uganda, where the girl fell out after getting pregnant. And then the other way is also ensuring that there's what we call an affirmative action for women, because looking at our society being a patriarchal society, and I'm not saying that men have all the advantages, but I'm saying that given the history of our continent and our country, you realize that most positions and even economic opportunities have been favored more on the male side. Women have been put a lot in the domestic space, and even if you look at the employment arena, you realize that most girls, especially the young girls, some of them are working as house helps, some of them are working either in the market, and these are there are opportunities which, yes, they give income, but not an income that fully sustains somebody throughout their life. It is an hand-to-mouth thing. So then we are looking at how can these girls be enabled to get the capacity, the skills they need by completing their education, so that when they come to compete with the counterpart boy for that technological job, for that kind of job we are talking about at the African Connect Summit, then they are also able to not only come out as girls, but also that they have the capacity. Yes, they are at a par level.
All right, I would need to wind up. Let me get your final comments on this, because I see somebody on Twitter here saying it is because we have not empowered our girls that the sponsor culture is quickly gaining ground in the country. Let's get your final comments on this, even as we put in context the morality and the moral values that we hold as a society.
Well, I think the sponsor context is just one of the many challenges that face the girl child. No girl will just go by the option to get a sponsor, but because of what we call the lack of the opportunities in the society. If this girl didn't complete her education, she's not able to compete at par with the other citizens in the community, then, and that's why we talk of even prostitution, not leave around the sponsorship aspect. There's the aspect of prostitution, of trafficking of women and girls, and these are because the society has not been able to provide an opportunity for these girls to engage beneficially in the community and be economically productive. So I can't blame or put the blame squarely on the girl going for the sponsor, but I look at the society as a whole, that what kind of avenues have we created, what kind of environment have we put in place for this girl when she was in primary school, she was in secondary school, that enabled her to complete or not complete her education, and she finds herself in such a situation that she resorts to somebody like a sponsor. All
right, well, thank you so much for speaking to us, Jean-Paul Murunga from Equality Now, discussing the day of the girl that was celebrated globally yesterday. Let's now cross over to the Kenya National Theatre here in Kenya, where our reporter this morning, David Mbithi, he was there looking at highlights from the Somali Cultural Festival underway here in Nairobi. Let's take a look at what's been happening there.
Afternoon at the Kenya National Theatre. This is the Somali Heritage Week. It's another beautiful Friday. The sun is shining brighter than $700, but that is peanuts compared to what they had on display. Currently in its 4th edition, the Somali Heritage Week aims to rewrite the negative narrative on the Somali community in Kenya. We took a few rounds, and this is what we had to show.
As you know, culture is a very important element, critical element of every society. Culture is what makes us human beings. Culture is part of what we are, that distinctively makes us who we are, and at the same time links us with other cultures. For example, having grown up here in Nairobi and in Nyanza, I was brought up on Benga music of Kabasele, and here in Nairobi, we were a great fan of Joseph Kamaru's music. Although he was singing in Kikuyu, it invited and introduced us to the rich Kikuyu culture. Kabasele did the same. He sang in the Luo. And I'm also a great fan of Congolese rumba, although my understanding of Lingala is limited. So culture is interconnecting, and the theme of this particular event is connectivity, connecting human beings. So first of all, it exposes to a bigger audience the Somali culture in terms of music, in terms of poetry, in terms of art and performances, traditions and so on. And it is very important